I must have more than 2-3 flings outside. Who told you so? It is an anathema to a good marriage. You promised in front of God, a man. So why are you violating the promise you made to God, a man? Why are you telling God that he's stupid? Why? Want your marriage to work? Do good. You want your life to be better? Do good in 2023. Create value. Creating value also means doing good in your home. There are some men out there, they've never helped their children in even doing homework or even reviewing their homework. I'm not saying, okay, do it for them. Okay, read it through with them. There are some men out there, they've never read to their children in their lives. They've never had a full-on conversation with their children. A 1-hour conversation. You are breeding monsters. You are breeding monsters. Monster. Because a man that doesn't have a full-on conversation with his child, how do you want the child to have a full-on conversation with his own children? I tell people every day, the kind of love I want to share with my child is because I had a father that shared the greatest amount of love with me, that I still miss so much. People tell me, Rufai, there's never a day you talk, you don't put your father in it. There's no way I can talk without not mentioning my father. He has shared love with me that will last a lifetime. So why do we deceive ourselves? You're destroying your life after you sign divorce by irreconcilable differences. Over 80% of the time, irreconcilable difference means lack of discipline. That's what irreconcilable differences mean. People should stop polluting the institution of marriage like it doesn't even work. It's supposed to work, but it's just that people have become very selfish by the day. Over 80% irreconcilable it means somebody is not ready to be disciplined. Irreconcilable difference also means they're not the year word. They're not the year word. So people just get winch for body. They shop winch. Because now winch you shop now, you get family for house. You did disgrace yourself outside with other people. And you want 2023 to now winch you shop now. Not the only person will confess now shop winch. Some people shop winch. Some politicians just shop winch for their body. People will steal and winch their shop now. That's why I say, please, electorally, make 2023 matter. Okay. So people just shop winch. When a person gets too much pride, you see somewhere, I can't apologize. Not be winch you shop. Because it is an insane person that cannot understand that you've hurt somebody and apologize to them. That's the beginning of insanity. And let me tell you something, most of this insanity goes back to their homes. Because, let me tell you something. And that's why parents, please be there more for your children in 2023. Because you see, at the developmental stage of your child's life, when they face trauma, their brain does not develop effectively. So most children grow up having what I call borderline personality disorder. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We're still talking.
vote Dr. Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran Jandor as Governor of Lagos State. PDP! Power to the people!
All right, this is still VOP 90.3. This is still VOP 90.3. And we're still talking here. Please, I'd like Dozier to come and help me set up the computer here properly so I can take messages on YouTube. A lot of people, I see your messages on Instagram. Thank you so much. So a lot of people shop Winch, and you want to be successful in 2023. You're not creating any value business-wise. You don't even have a good behavior, and you want to be successful. Now, Winch to shop. And if you want to call me, please, 0700 903 903 903. 0700, yes. 0700 903 903. No. Set up the YouTube on this. Oh, we're live on the air, Dozier. Just set it up, please. Huh? Okay. So, and you want to be successful. You want to be successful. And you're not doing anything. So who are you deceiving? I ask you, who are you deceiving? You're not ready to create any form of value. And you forget that life is incumbent on value you create. What have you built? What have you built? I ask you, please, what have you built? Who have you impacted as a person? You shop Winch well. I be not be juju be that. You have not built anything and you want to be rich overnight. Is it because of the kind of callous nature in which our politicians do things? That we see people in our lives that they had nothing before they got into power and all of a sudden they are billionaires. I even know one of them that rants around that when he was first elected, it was night bus he took to Abuja. Night bus. You see, sometimes I just look at them, I laugh. I'm not saying people don't have a past. But I'm saying if we are going to grow, let us have a trajectory that is verifiable. Which we all know. But even if you do things illegally and you get away with it, make life better for others. I'm not to support anybody doing anything illegally. And that's why we should even de-emphasize people going to government. Make it part-time. Make National Assembly job part-time. Look for people that truly want to serve. Make it part-time. Reduce the cost of governance. 125 billion, they pay 360 people a year. Cut it. Make it part-time. Only pay them for their sitting allowance. A lot of people will not do it. And don't allow them have access to oversight contracts in their constituency. Have an ombudsman where they report to. Take contracts off them. That's how they steal in government. It's going to be hard economically, but you can do well. You can even do better. You can accelerate prospects. It's a year with a lot of opportunities for you, but you need to check yourself because a lot of people are wrecking themselves without checking themselves. What's your character? What's your character? Who are you as a person? Who are you as a person? You just keep destroying other people's life. Not be Winch you shop. You shop Winch. You have bad character. You can't be corrected. You feel like you know too much and you know nothing. I'm impacting somebody this morning. And you see, this is the gospel raw. Because God wants you to succeed in 2023. But there are so many things that when you look at it, it is the work of your hand that is preventing yourself. A lot of people, you are using your own hand to take your own destiny and blessing away from yourself. There are some of you, if only you can keep a job, and you have character, you will see how your life will accelerate. There are many people that have never kept a job in their life. I say, there are people in this Lagos that waking up 6 o'clock for them is a luxury. Half of their life is spent in the club. And that's why, please, rich men out there, train your children well. Don't use your children to come and cause destabilizing environment for other people's kids. Monitor your children. Be disciplined with your children. We are on YouTube, Voice of the People 90.3, VOP 90.3. We need to build back our big stream. You know, we used to have a big stream on Sundays, but I've been moving around a lot. Last week I was away. I was out there in Côte d'Ivoire. Also going to impact and look for possibilities. Please, like I was saying, rich men, monitor your children. And some of you that you know that your children are doing nothing. Yeah? Because of your connection, you're able to put their name part of ghost workers in government ministry. They collect salary every month, but they don't go there. And you know it. All they do is they sleep. They wake up 12:33. They go into the kitchen, meet your help. Auntie is there, food they eat. After eating, 4:35, they go out. They go and smoke whatever they smoke and take whatever drug they want to drink. 6 p.m., 7 p.m., they are still outside drinking with the friends. 9, 10, they enter club. They don't come back till 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, they sleep till 12 o'clock. That's their daily routine. That's their daily routine. And you know. When they are getting close to 30, you now look for a very innocent girl. Or maybe not an innocent girl sometimes. You now say they must marry him. Even one was sharing a story with us that married this girl. The next thing, this guy, after being so drunk, he got to a stage. He said, no, I don't want to sleep with you as a wife alone. I want my friends to come and join me. Look at the kind of callous, cannibal life we're living. It can't make us grow in 2023. A lot of people are joining us live. My very good brother, Sheon, just joined us live. Sheon Okibaba. He's a great man, you know. He's got a new book coming out. Powerful books this year. Please go out there and buy Sheon Okibaloye's books. You know, my very good brother of Channels TV. His books are going to come out this year. Powerful books on the interview he's had with other great thinkers. We need to sanitize society. It is righteousness that exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any nation. Sin destroys and dwindles the prospect of any nation. It is righteousness that exalts. We cannot destroy society because society is already destroyed. That's why we set up VOP 90.3. The voice of the people. We called it the voice of the people. And you have seen the impact we've made. In close over 6 months, we now have close to 1 million organic listeners in Lagos. Your radio station is doing well on the charts. That's why you need to support us even more. This was just launched in June last year because we want to impact the people. We want to impact the people because we see values are dying in society. That's why this Sunday morning show means a lot to me, to impact the generations. We can't afford to make society constantly be like this. God has given you the capacity to do exceeding success and do well in 2023. But what are you doing with it? Will you keep blaming people? Will you keep talking like a small mind that only talk about ideas, that only talk about people? They said the audio is not good on YouTube, please. It sounds very low. Please, help us amplify for our dear listeners. Ajayi Boy, I see you. Dogome, I see you. Jovita Agu, I see you. Olayinka Vat, oh, Van Hort. I can't wait to see you. You always join us all the way from Austria. God bless. Please, when you're in Nigeria, come around. I would like to have you in the studio with me. Peter Aluya, my brother from Sweden, I appreciate you. Peter Mary Aluya, Oh, my sister. You know they no finish with the name these days. But we need to impact our society. Better man, I see you. Qualitech, I see you. We need to impact our society. 2023, God has given us the capacity of great grace. And it's been released. Despite the indices look tough, it's an election year. And please, I beg you, go out there and vote. Don't fight with anybody. You don't need it. Voting good leaders. Voting people that change your life. Please, vote wisely. Despite the fact that the economic circumstances, it's also a time to do great things. The most impactful seasons. Go and look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett started investing in the days when the stocks were low because of economic destruction. After the wars in America. This is the time to buy assets, buy real estate. Buy real estate. Buy real estate. You can never go wrong. Just buy, can keep. Increase your asset base. Your liquidity in your hand, inflation can eat it up. But once you turn it to assets, it's unprecedented. Lock it down with assets. Diversify. Maybe I'll come back and have a special business session, impact session. Diversify. Do not use your 10 hands to eat. Open up prospects. Open up prospects for yourself. There's so many good things that can happen to you in the new year. That's why you see that from the start of the year, we keep giving you powerful series that can impact you and help you as you go through the year. Open up prospects. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too small. Look at other areas. Look for possibilities. Do business. You will fail at sometimes, but at least you learn something. You learn something. I will open calls because we are here. We are big online. We're also big on terrestrial. 90.3 if you're in Lagos, you tune into the dial, you hear us loud and clear. And also we're big on podcasts. Rufai Speaks podcast. Very powerful, insightful words to change a generation. Since we started the podcast a couple of years ago, I think a year ago, we have over close to 19 to 20,000 plays. And we thank God for what he's doing through the podcast, impacting people. 0700 903 903 903. I want to hear people that have been impacted this morning. I will title this message, No Chop Winch. I know it's quite funny, but I think it will sink in the message. No chop winch. A lot of people shop winch. No shop winch. I beg. There are some things you can truly correct. And if it's a character flaw you can't correct, get somebody, a psychologist that can help you out with it. There are some you might not be able to do. There are some you might not be able to do. You need help. You need a psychologist. Because you see, when it happened to you, you did not know. It was probably the trauma that happened to you when your brain was forming. Go and check. It's been proven empirically. Most children that see their parents divorce are most likely to get a divorce in their life. Go and check. It's been proven empirically. And that's why be careful what you are doing, parents. You are hurting the woman keeps shouting every time, "Oh God, respect yourself." You don't know your children are seeing everything. And you are putting a lot of mental trauma in the lives of the child. It will take a lot of healing for them to be able to come out of it. That's why Nigeria is an agglomeration of broken people. Plenty broken people here and there. Hello. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Bless you. How are you? What's your name, sir?
My name is Chiwike. Happy Sunday, sir.
Happy Sunday, Chibike. Is this message impacting you, Chibike?
Huh?
Is this message
Yes, sir.
is impacting you?
No, sir.
It's not impacting you. Maybe you should go and listen again.
Yes.
Okay, don't worry.
Huh?
Call back, eh? Call back. I think you should listen again. Maybe you are just joining us. We always get that sometimes. 0700 903 903. That's 903. Call us up. Let us get impacted. No shop winch, I beg you. I no shop winch. You're not good. It's destroying yourself and it's destroying the prospect of your family. And you can't afford to let it continue. Because this bad habit will destroy you. They will destroy you, and I beg you. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Bless you so much.
Thank you. You are blessed also. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
You have you have helped me a lot.
Bless
Your
you.
words is words of wisdom.
Bless you.
I have something to confess.
Yes, sir.
You see, let me break it down where I'm from. You see, the time why I did small, this father, who I call my father, we did do farm work. He never tell us say we cry. He will say the one we do yesterday, not even better pass the one we do day before yesterday. So today, he will be gingering us. We will do past yesterday, we will do past, no break unless if you want to eat. So our mates no feel even challenge us for work. You know why the thing they affect me now? You get one factory where I enter. They started to query me, say I dey take drugs. I don't know, say people where they work for factory now, guy, if the time, if they see supervisor, they start work, I never know. So they start to say I dey take drugs. They suspend me. More time they call me back. I do the work. I don't get friends. But you get one guy where they drink, I don't get plate. I'll put her inside plastic, put water. They feel say that thing has grown. But I don't know, say then they do timing work. But they do 400 per hour. Why I they do 600 per hour? So they say make I work for the director say I work for 3 months ago, but they don't know where they live. I live inside bush. So I know he do the work again. I enter another place. They see the same thing. I they take drugs. Say make I take them, I reduce and say the work no be like that. So the work they inside me. Even you, if you do the work, I go overdo them like. I
so
could they wonder whether my bad thing they show me.
It's not a bad thing to have a sense of work. It's not
And they use and they give me bad names.
It's
you
not-
understand?
it's
So
not a bad
I
thing.
avoid that side. Even till now, they see they call me.
All you would do is this. Now negotiate better because you work better. That's all you need to do. Negotiate better, and as you dey work, hope you dey check your health. Your health is important.
Yeah. You know,
Negotiate better.
my health is so
Wait till I go
I
just-
enjoy doing it.
Wait till I go
I
just tell
enjoy
you, oh,
doing it.
God, cool down. Your blood too hot. Wait till I go tell you this. Do it with sense. Do
Yeah.
it with sense. Negotiate better. Deliver on time. Negotiate better. Get more income. Do it with sense. And look at how you can better your life. You know if you do factory work forever.
No, that was there. I don't think you get people where they face this challenge too. That was there.
So
You understand?
look at how you go upgrade your life. Because as you dey old, they go. So waiting your body if you carry 5 years ago, now if you carry on today again.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Just be smart. Eh?
Exactly.
God will give you grace.
Exactly. But that was then anyway. Thank you. Let me give you all
Bless
that.
you. Bless you. 0700 903 903 VOP 90.3, yeah? Somebody's asking me that would the message be recorded? Yes, it's live there, it's streaming. You can go and watch it again. Please, does he tag the message, no shop winch? Spell the winch. W-I-S-H. How do they spell that for Benny? Winch. Don't just say Rufai Oseni live. Tag it properly so that people can know the message. No shop winch. You can see it on YouTube. Hello, how are you?
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir.
Blessed to have you. How are you?
This is the matter, sir. I'm the visually impaired boy, sir.
Yeah,
How do you do?
I remember you. How's everything? How's your life?
I listen to you. My father is just the same person. You know, that guy called. I don't want to talk much. I just asked for, I want to enroll into the visually impaired school in the church. No one has reached me. But I said,
Okay, I told you to call
my
out your
father-
number on air. Eh? Call it. Okay, speak about your father first before I allow you to call out your number on air.
You see, my father, even if he goes to work and come back, he doesn't even care about my mother. He goes out, he drinks, he comes back at any time. If my mother didn't bring out food for him, he beats her up.
Hmm.
Even accuse my mother if he's not even sure if he's the one who gave birth
Yeah.
to me.
Now, Winch be that too. It's so sad. It's so sad.
As I speak to you, that is what I am battling, and I don't want to give up.
You can't give up.
I don't want to give up, sir. I don't want to give up, sir.
You can't give up.
I won't see because of my condition and say, let me give up or end my
You
life.
can't give up. You can't give up. One thing I always let you know is that, you see, if you have to look at this critical, every Nigerian needs therapy out there because we've all lived with abusers one way or the other. We've either married them, we've either had them as parents and all of that. It's a very hostile society, but please don't give up. What you should look at is that despite for every 10 people that do you bad, there are 30 people in life that will do you good. So God will also make you see those people. But please call your number again so at least we can get you started in that school, School of the Blind in Ikeja. Call your number again. And please, once people reach out to you, call your number live on the air. Once people reach out to you, use the money for the purpose and call us back and tell us that you have the money for the purpose. Because, you know, people have also made it difficult to help people in Nigeria because a lot of people call the radio station to lie and scam. You know, I've been doing this radio impact for over 10 years. There was one I went to Kokomaiko and the man that called and was crying on the radio the other day, they showed me, said, now in the smoke, it go for there. I felt so a lot of people are terrible people too. But we keep doing good. We don't look at their bad things they do. Please call your number out.
081 03
Yes.
88
Yes.
81
Yes.
87.
Okay. Very good. Somebody will probably reach out to you. It is well. I beg, It is well. Please, it is well. A lot of people now, I can see your messages, a lot of messages coming in. Still calling us out, 0700 903 903 903. I'm having a guest by 10 o'clock. You should be here. We do a national development session by 10 o'clock where we interview, people and drill them. I'm also going to play the excerpts of an interview I had with a great man, very good friend of mine. He was 85 on the 1st of January. Dr. Newton Jimino is in town. If my very good friend, Oga German, can tell him to tune into 90.3, we'll play his interview all over again, and we'll made him have a... Okay, yeah, the interview is here. Thank you so much for that. We'll lock that in. We also play some interviews we've had. We had some very powerful interviews where we taped down. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Bless you, my brother.
Yes, I'm Papa by name.
Yes.
Listening to your program this morning has really woken up a lot of things in me.
Yes.
And glad that I can listen to you. I've never had this program before. I'm like a man, a lot of what's going through my mind and switching radio and listening to it. That it's just been so eye-opening.
Please bookmark this radio station every 9 o'clock on Sunday. Powerful. I'm also on Monday through Friday, newspaper analysis and review. Just bookmark the station, 90.3. It's powerful. People that stumble on us and discover us like that, they love what they hear and they constantly love what they hear. Just bookmark it, please.
I'm actually glad to listen today. Because the parenting of it. I want to talk about something that happened to me also while growing up. My dad is not somebody who's always around. Yeah, he's always there. In fact, I barely see him in months, in years. And he happened to have a very good wife. Mom always waits for him. She has never derailed. But the problem I see there is the way he grew up, like what you said. He said your father has started loving you. She makes you the same in your own kids.
Yes.
So I think the way it does not come with so much love. So it's just there, and at least once it provides that off, it doesn't need to sit around and do all that thing. But the thing is, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up and those flaws. I didn't grow up to want to do what he does. I grew up to want to do what he did not do. I don't have a kid. I'm not married yet, but I'm so blessed with that mindset that once I have my kids, I'm not doing this how I want to go. I've seen other families, I've had other stories, I've learned a thing from them and from mine, putting things together, and I think that is just the thing I want to do. Not to do what he did and do what he did not do.
Very good. And God will help you as you do that. Because you have to be intentional. It's not their fault when you look at it. Most parents who didn't grow up in an atmosphere of love, as at that time, their understanding was limited. Was from a place of a lot of oppression and all of that. But some of them were intentional with it. And they'll tell you that we will make things better. You get? And it was the intentionality.
The only fear I have for him now is he's failing to now realize that he's already old.
Just keep showing him love. He will. Let me tell you something. Most of them realize, but it's ego and pride. Don't worry, they will come out of it. Don't worry. Just keep showing him love. It's tough, but keep showing him love. You'll be amazed what that does to him. Call him up. Give him gifts.
One other thing I want to talk about is women thinking that they cannot excel on their own. It is a very wrong motive that I'm presently facing right now. My fiancé of about 3 years, we've been together about 3 years, suddenly just wants to, take a break. And without any reason, I tried to reach out and ask what exactly is the problem. We've gone beyond the stage of saying we need to just give it. What exactly? I asked to know if the fault is from me. But over time, I then sat down, talked most recently. I realized she herself is telling me the fault is from me. She just wanted to know, probably because of we've been seeing each other too often, too frequent. So she wants to see somebody else to know if it is if she actually did love me and don't want to enter the relationship or marriage. And I'm really confused. And how is this part of what it's supposed to be? Discipline is supposed to set in here, because you will keep seeing different and better guys every time. Even when you're married, you keep seeing somebody better. You always see somebody who is better. It is your decision to say, okay, I'm staying with this person and I'm on with this person, and this is what I want.
What does that tell you that she's doing? Let's just cut to the chase. All it just tells you that she's not deserving of you, and God has just shown you. So please just let her go. There are still women that are stoical in their discipline in this country. They are hard to find, but you'll get them. And what is for you will be for you. So please, I know it hurts you so much because you've invested 3 years of emotions, your money, everything, your life into this. But you see, one thing I also tell people is, when people show you who they are, believe them, because that's truly who they are. If she's shown you that she can't be trusted, that after 3 years she doesn't feel what you share is concrete enough to go the rest of your life with you, she will never change. So I think it's just best you leave it. Bite the bullet, take the pain, take the hurt, take the learnings. Most of the time it's never your fault in life. It's just that we have a society that has been so corrupted, and a lot of people are not being realistic any longer. But you see, out of this madness that goes on, out of this winch where plenty people chop, there are still people that are being realistic. And when you find them, you know you found treasure. So please, my brother, I know you don't chop breakfast, but just move on. It's not that deep. Yeah, I know it's not breakfast. Not everybody they chop breakfast, but just move on. It's sad that that's what the society has become, but that's the reality of today. But it doesn't change your prospects.
grateful to be on the
Please,
show.
please, don't be daunted. I beg you. Please.
Okay.
0700 903 9039. I'm supposed to have a guest and it's running late. 3 minutes to in. I think obviously is going to be here. Hello.
Hello.
Great.
I want to report one
good.
person who had
My guest is
Hello.
here, right on time. Hello.
Yeah, I'm Chief Timothy. I want may you correct me for person who I call Winch. Now, one pastor, every September, they get this contract for one school, $500,000.
Yeah.
And this pastor carry their reverend, go meet the principal, say, I no be their church member. Make we start to give them to their church member. Say, I no be their church member. So the principal come to me. Now this school, he said, make they share them. Make they bring half, they bring half. Say, I like him like that. He said, yes, I like him. He go back. They do him like that again. They come out the principal. The vice principal say, he no go do half again. May they start to give the church member. Hey, no one, may they stack them too. Make I find another place. So the man talk to me, say, okay. So I dey call that pastor now. Whether I'm Winch, I be no be Winch. Correct me for that.
So the thing about contracts is you put out a tender for contracts. I don't know the kind of agreement you had, but don't forget that those that issue out the contracts, if they want to give it to somebody else, they have a right. But is it a fair tender? And the question I make I ask you to say, you too, did you get it by a fair tender or because now runs you get somebody for there? So before you call somebody Winch to look at yourself. That's just what I'll tell you. Pure and simple.
Okay, see the way I take get the favor. I get this favor, say, na school wise. So, take that back.
Hello?
So, I get this contract due to say, I get them plenty. And when they buy them, then they give the owner, may go market, go buy corn. Why I get them for my shop in 3 places? The man go shop.
But the question is, if the man say they not give you again, they won't give their church member, which I don't think is right. It not be say end your life now. So move on.
Yes.
You
but I move on. I not stop there, but I call that pastor Winch. So correct me whether I'm Winch.
No, you have no right to call him a Winch. No.
Because I'm not a church member.
No, it's sad say because you're not a church member, but the also question is in the conversation for you to balance it out. How you get the job? Was it a fair tender? You get the job because you say if you get connections one way or the other. That's it. And
No, the man connect himself to me direct. He not believe what he see.
It doesn't matter. I'm not saying it makes it right because the pastor say he won't give out to church member. It is wrong for him to say that. But I'm also saying that was it a fair deal? No, you two you got favored in the job. So if not favor, me I know they like put things maybe say not favor for my mind too much. Because it can end any day. I like to move on, but it doesn't make that person a witch. But it doesn't also make it right. And I think it's wrong for pastors to do that. That, we must only give it to a church member. No. Give it on a fair tender. Anybody that brings the best price will be able to get the job. You get. So that's just the conversation. Huh? It is well. Not call anybody Winch. You just move on. It is well. God will open this up. We'll open another one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, because,
Hello.
yes.
I gotta go. I gotta go.
That's the thing.
Bless you, my brother.
That's
So I've got a guest, and he's here on time. That's very important. I must have to say the 2 times he's been here on time. I've got Mr. Rhodes Vival here, and he's the gubernatorial candidate of the Labour Party in Lagos State. And this is like 30 days to the election because the last time we spoke, okay, good. Can you hear it? Yeah. Is it out now? Okay. So just look at the camera so we can get him. So Dozier, please flip the 2 screens so that people can watch him. Yeah, please do that quickly. So the last time we spoke, you had not put out your manifesto. We're still talking through it. But now you have a manifesto. And we're going to talk a lot about your manifesto. And we're also going to open the phone lines. So Mr. Rhodes Vival wants to be the next. Say something again. Good. Mr. Gbadebo Rhodes Vival wants to be the next governor of Lagos State. And he was here a couple of months ago. We had the conversation. Now we're out here, 30 days to the election. How are the campaigns first?
You know, when I came last time, I said our strategy is a surge strategy.
Yeah.
Because, we have to manage our resources to make sure we
Yeah.
have a consistent push between now and the election. So I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's a surge currently ongoing.
How many grounds have you covered? How much, sir? I say how many grounds? How much grounds have you covered?
Door to door every day for the past 3 weeks. Yesterday we're in Ifakojai, tomorrow we're in Alimosho. You know, and constantly we're going to get to every local government and every ward. So that is consistent, that is ongoing, and that's just sensitization. And then we have the major rallies starting in February in each local government.
Okay, so you're going to be having your major rallies in February and all that.
Yes.
So now you finally have your manifesto out. What is it that you have for the people of Lagos? And I want this session to be very interactive. So please, if you have questions, specific questions, call us up. You've got somebody that wants to be governor, your governor in Lagos, all right? 0700 903 903 903. So call us up now or send a message via YouTube. We've got a lot of people watching on YouTube, on Instagram, and everything. Then you ask this question. So your manifesto is finally out. Talk us through your manifesto. Okay, did your manifesto address issues like the sanitation condition in Lagos, which is appalling?
Yeah.
Talk about that, please.
Okay, so in terms of waste management, our manifesto starts from the premise that we don't manage waste in Lagos State. We just dump waste. So the crux of it is to try and create a system where waste is actually converted to wealth, and having a situation also where waste is separated from the house and have different routes by which they then get upcycled, recycled, and actually used to generate energy. So organic waste is separated from inorganic waste, and all of this is domiciled at the local government level. So we're empowering the local government to take more control of waste management in their respective jurisdictions, because we feel that value would incentivize them to actually manage it and supervise the collection of it more. Secondly, we are depoliticizing the entire waste collection system. Now you need to know who is who in a political party to be part of it.
So you're scrapping the PSPs?
No, we're not scrapping it. We are opening it up and making it transparent. So as long as you have a vehicle, a truck that meets certain requirements, you can directly, easily get involved in the PSPs and the entire waste management system. So the idea is that we're terribly underserved still in Lagos State, but because there are such bottlenecks to be able to get involved, especially if you're a party member or affiliated to the ruling party, these are the reasons why we remain underserved. And we also want to start domiciling this again at the local government level. So we want people to be registered at the local government, bring their trucks and register through the local government, and depoliticize the system.
But you still pay for it, because when they come to pick up the waste, it's still the government that pays for it. How do you sort out that payment line if you're bringing more people into the business now?
No, so it's also a private sector driven initiative, right? So we're looking at it currently, the way it's currently managed, and it's really just, I don't want to use the word pandering. It's really the state just taking care of its people, right? We want to actually make sure this is a public sector.
Because people don't pay for waste. They don't pay to get their garbage.
Waste, and that's why we're saying that we want to convert the waste itself to wealth. Currently, they're just dumping it. The idea is now to have different paths. So organic waste is going on its own path to generate organic fertilizer, to generate biogas, to generate power. These are systems that we're working to put in place to ensure that that in itself is valuable. So private sector comes in with that sort of approach. When you're just picking up waste and dumping it, then obviously people are looking at it like, I don't have to pay for this, and a lot of people are not paying for it, like you said, which is why so many local governments are underserved, and a lot of people are not going to pick up their waste in those local governments. The idea now is to convert these things to waste and really prioritize it at the local government.
How much does the government currently pay for waste alone collection? How much do they pay those PSPs?
There are different numbers. You know, these numbers are not put out as official numbers, but it's rates in millions every month, right? Even for and it also ties into the women that are sweeping on the roads. Some say they pay them 10,000, some they pay them 30,000. There is no official document that we can say this is the exact amount that's being paid. But what we do know is that most of these monies are being collected by party faithful that are working together with the party. If, for instance, I know a person that on indication of him running for Labour Party, all his contracts were terminated This happened about 2 weeks ago.
But are you sure you two are not going to be the same person in case if you get in that you will make it free for the because you see waste is a big. Hope you know waste. This waste matter is so critical that it cost the governor in this Lagos.
Yes, exactly.
You remember the case of Visionscape?
Exactly.
That one. So
and if you notice, Visionscape came in with the idea of actually generating wealth from waste. They actually did public IPOs. They raised so much money to be able to do this. But unfortunately, because they are working in an establishment that is based on mediocrity, it's just collecting money, it's not really about creating value, that was handicapped. And that's why, personally, it does not make sense for me to go and join the ruling party, because all these visions and ideas that I have, which is the basis of the reason of running in the first place, would not go anywhere.
But a lot of people are also, ambivalent. Okay, somebody just said people pay for Loma.
Some people in some local governments, but I assure you there are so many riverine communities that have never seen any waste collection. Even in Lagos Island, if you remember, if you know the old Nitel building there, there's about at least a minimum of 5,000-6,000 human beings that live in that complex. Waste collection does not happen there. You go into that place, at the center of it is a huge waste dump, right? So the idea is we must look at the system currently, take away the politicization of it, open it up so that it's transparent, and ensure that this waste is actually converted to wealth as opposed to just making landfills. And that's where we create value.
So have you sort of like done a cost projection of how much this waste can make in wealth when this value chain comes up?
I've looked at it more in terms of power. So the amount of waste that we generate in Lagos is able to power about 3,000 homes. Currently, based on the information that we have, is able to power 3,000 homes in terms of power.
So you want to build a biogas power plant?
Pretty much, yes.
How much is it going to cost?
Biogas power plants are going to cost between $10 to $15 million. But this is not going to be paid by the Lagos state government. So a lot of projects that we want to do is not going to be tied to the purse strings of the government. Our work is create an enabling environment that gives the private sector as much data as possible and makes incentives for them to settle in and create a situation where you don't need to know politicians or give politicians equity in your company to be able to set up. That is what we want to do. We want to create an enabling environment. Yes, the government might own 15 to 10% of it.
So what you are saying now is that all the people supporting you now in Labour Party in Lagos, if you become governor, nothing for them. Because that's the only way integrity can be. Can you say it loudly that for all those that support you will not give them government patronage?
We want to restore Lagos State to excellence. So if you are a member of Labour Party and you are indeed excellent in your specific,
you are not going to give them positions.
You are going to have a position.
You are going to give them
excellent
position.
In your specific field, you will have position, right? At the same time, there are so many jobs, there are so many opportunities. Everybody is working because they want a better Nigeria. That's really what Labour Party is about. And we are going to put round pegs in round holes. I'm not saying that people are not going to be
they're not going to chop.
Appreciated.
Okay.
But there's no chopping. See, Lagos State is poor. Regardless of what you might think, these monies that you're talking about, once you convert it to dollars and divide it by a number of people in Lagos State, we are poor. Especially if you mean well for everybody, not just a section of people or a section of the community, we are poor.
But the APC claims, though, it's been bastion of wealth, that they've raised wealth in Lagos, they've done so much.
For themselves. But I mean, there are so many riverine communities. I met with the ballets of most of the riverine communities in Lagos State. They've not had light, ever. They don't have primary health care centers. They don't have schools. In places like Ojo, children walk almost for 5 minutes to be able to get to school.
Okay, so you're saying you will build power plants in Lagos?
I said I will work with the private sector to build a biogas power plant and make that process as
how many megawatt biogas power plant?
We are looking at between 10 to 30 megawatts to power. So really, it's about powering 3,000 homes, and that's
where are those 3,000 homes going to be?
So it's going to be as close as possible, and most likely in Alimosho, most likely in Ikeja division.
Why Alimosho and Ikeja division?
Because that's where most of the waste is generated.
Okay.
Right, and the idea is to make it as proximate as possible so that it's efficient. Now, this is just off the top of like what we are planning to do initially. Obviously, it can be expanded, but I'm not going to come and say we are going to do it all over Lagos at once. Let's start with this. Let's make it work. Let's make it work efficiently, and then we expand it.
Let's take a couple of calls because I want it to be very participatory. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please speak up a little bit louder. And the people on YouTube are telling us that they can't hear us loud and clear. So does he fix it up? Speak up a little bit. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And ask Mr. Viver a question, please.
Good morning, sir. My name is Amanda.
I can't hear you properly, Onomel. Yeah, so Mr. 502 cannot. Can you hear now?
I can't hear.
So, this on our network.
Okay, I'm starting to hear.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
But now today I've been listening to your this, it really educates me, not this much.
Thank you so much. But we get person who will become governor for Lagos, so for Labour Party, Mr. Rufai Oseni. Don't know I say make you ask question. He did, yeah, they answer the question. We don't finish that segment. That segment are from 9 to 10. So you just look out next week, 9 to 10. We go do that one. But this one from 10 to 11, we follow politicians, we follow people who want lead our country, and people who they do things we go better the country, we go make the country pure where. Now we they follow talk. So we call that National Development Corner. So you want to ask a question?
Now, Labour Party, I want to vote for.
Now Labour Party, but the guy, the person where they want to be governor for Labour, so you don't get question when you want to ask.
And the Labour Party where I do.
And the Labour Party, these are the Labour Party governorship candidate for Lagos. So.
I'm not even they understand the way they talk with that.
I said, these are the Labour Party governorship candidate for Lagos.
Oh.
And I did here now. I did here. Ask a question now. You said,
No be Jando na PDP. My name na Gbadibo Rhodes Rival. I be Labour Party governorship candidate.
Okay, for Labour Party, Abi?
Yes.
you don't get question when you go ask him. I will leave you now. Don't worry. You too much, eh? Good. 0700 903 903. And for the peculiarity of this conversation, we'll also have conversations in Pidgin English. So
No
please, I beg you, if you go call, you want to talk for Pidgin, they ask question because people they speak Pidgin too for Lagos. We say most people say they speak Pidgin for Lagos apart from English. You feel call us up to ask your question. Hello, how are you? Okay, we lose that. 0700 903 903. Somebody's talking about the hold up and the traffic and Agberu. Mostly, collect money, bringing bad name to Lagos. All of these conversations are out there. I think you should just write the questions down. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, great to have you. What's your name? Where you calling from? Please make your question short, sweet, and sharp. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Julius. I'm calling from the country.
Bless you, Julius.
Yes, sir. Please, I don't know if my question is relevant to him, being the governor of the Labour Party governor here. I had something recently, just yesterday, and I have never slept up to this time. I'm hearing something from Governor Akpabio that there is no need of doing election. That there is no need of doing election. That it's APC presidential, which is Tinubu is going to take the position. So there's something like election.
No. Let me quickly debunk anything you heard. Go to elections and vote on election. They forget what you hear from politicians. Everybody's I don't know. Just go to elections and vote on election. I'm telling you that. Forget anything you hear. All right? Get your party and go and vote. All right? Forget all of that. 0700 903 903 903. Let's talk about what your manifesto says as regards health.
Yeah.
And Agberu. But let's take this call. Please, short and sharp, straight to the point. Hello?
Good morning.
Bless you. What's your name?
My name is XYZ.
XYZ, go ahead.
All right. First, I want to ask the governorship candidate of Labour, what is his manifesto like?
Okay.
Because
good one.
so from his manifesto, we'll know the next thing to do.
Very good one. What's your manifesto like, which we started talking about anyway? Yeah. Okay. So, 3 questions real quickly, and this will be fast. Traffic hold up, healthcare. What's your manifesto like? And somebody's saying, can you make light rail from Lagos Island to Ikorodu? I think that project is on already. So those 3 questions you can answer quickly.
Okay, so in relation to traffic, that forms the bedrock of the entire manifesto because based on
what's your manifesto called in the first place?
Our covenant with Lagos State.
Okay, covenant with Lagos. Okay.
So the first thing is to ensure that we deliver 4 rail lines in 4 years. I said this the last time that I was here. And there were issues about numbers and all of that.
Yeah, how are you going to do it? Do you have your numbers?
Yes.
How much is it going to cost you?
It costs about 1.8 billion.
To deliver 4 rail lines. What's the total kilometer?
160 kilometers, but they've done 16. So they've done 10%. They raised 1.2 billion to be able to do 160 kilometers.
Yeah.
They've only done 1.6 kilometers of that. Right, so that's 10%. At the rate they're going, you're looking at about 200 years for them to finish this design of railway that they did.
So you are going to do it in 4 years?
In 4 years.
160 kilometers?
175 kilometers was done Lagos to Ibadan for 1.7 billion in the same Nigeria. Right? So it can be done. The issue is lack of transparency, corruption, in my opinion, and a desire for the government to do it by themselves. We don't need to do it by ourselves. There are private sector individuals and infrastructure developers that want to do these projects, right? And we are not looking for a situation where we are controlling funds to be able to steal money. Our major priority is for us to get projects delivered in record time and allow it to be able to be affordable for the people of Lagos.
So you are not going to be doing it, it's the private sector that's going to be
We're
doing
working on private sector. We are opening, and our job is to make it as transparent and as safe and reduce as much risk as possible for the private sector to get involved and ensure that the cost that is coming to the citizens for is as affordable as possible.
So the people are going to pay heavily for it?
No.
Okay.
That is the major thrust for us. We're reducing corruption, we're reducing bottlenecks, we're reducing bureaucracy to be able to make life easy for the private sector. What they have to give us in return is to ensure that the price that people are paying for these things is as affordable as possible.
So what will be the routes of this line?
So they've started the blue line, they stopped at mile 12. We need to take it to Badagry.
Okay.
The blue line must get to Badagry. So we're restoring the tourist, that's part of our manifesto, restoring that tourist service in Badagry, bringing all of that back, and also revitalizing the Badagry local government and that Badagry division. Secondly, you have the line coming from Alimosho to Marina, and then you also have the line coming from what we call Shagamu to Marina as well, another one coming to Alimosho, and then there's the red line, which is a shared lane that the federal government has built the stations and built the rail, the state has bought carriages for it. All these things will also be done. So those are all the lines that come together to be able to serve, right, Lagos State properly. The second thing will be dredging our waterways properly, ensuring that we're doing open, transparent.
How much is that going to cost?
It depends. Prices have changed. I know that for about 100 kilometers of dredging, if it's done properly, it's looking at about 100 million. And this was
100 million US.
No, 100 million naira.
Naira, okay.
Yes, this was dredging that. These are numbers from a year and a half ago. Obviously, inflation has come in, and there are a number of things like that. And these are raw numbers, not numbers that have been inflated by the government because they want to, steal.
And are you going to assure me that companies that have links to you as an architect will never be part of this project?
If they can give me the best deal. So what we're going to do is set benchmarks and open it to the public sector and the private sector and, the entire everybody. So we can say, okay, per kilometer of waterway that I want to dredge, this is how much we are going to pay. This is the benchmark. This is the World Bank certified benchmark. Also, per kilometer of road, this is how much we are going to pay. Now, if you can come below that and maintain quality, you are going to get that business. Whether you're my sister, you're my father, you're my uncle, we want the best price for Lagos State. That's it. So our work is to set these frameworks that the private sector can then get involved and come into.
Okay, let's also take it to healthcare, but let's take some other calls too from Lagosians. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, fine. This is Mr. Wadike.
Master Wadike, go straight ahead, talk to us.
Yeah, I want to let the governor, candidate of Labour Party, know that if he enter, it should not be like usual the way they are tying roads in old days. That if they don't know anybody, they can't come and tie a road. Okay. Imagine when he come to a solution in local government, Mafoluku, Ajawe State, that is near the airport, international airport. Please, if you have one, he can go around. You come and see how the road is.
Okay.
Imagine there is one that pains me in Chivita Road near my church, St. Peter Clever Church. They tied half, they remain half. And I asked one day we'll have a meeting with the councillor, why this road is not tied? He said he's the one to tie it. I said, then what are you waiting? He said he will do it, that he will do it during the final election to show that they are work. That's only one road though.
Okay.
And up to now, that road is still like that.
Okay, we get the trust of the matter so that others too can call. Thank you so much. I hope you are not going to say it's because they are only Labour Party voters. That's why you tie their road. I mean, those are very important questions. Well, let's take another call. Hello, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Yeah, what's your name? Quickly.
My name is Emeka. I'm calling from Mexico.
Oh, yeah, Emeka, go straight ahead.
Okay. Please, I want to ask the aspirant, what is his plan for accommodation in Lagos State?
Okay, housing.
Because the accommodation charges are very exorbitant.
Very high, yeah.
And it's very, very available for a salary earner. Imagine somebody to get an accommodation for 300K. And somebody is earning 70,000 or 50,000 there, paying transport and still feeding himself. Is there a regulation to regulate the price of accommodation or low housing cost? I don't know. You should just enlighten us on that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. A low housing cost 0700-903-903. So, healthcare, accommodation. Hope you will not do project based on party affiliations and all of that. Yeah.
Okay, so let's start from projects based on party affiliations. For us, we are going to empower the local government, and I know a lot of people pay lip service to this every election year. But if you truly want to,
let's just sneak in this question. Just sneak in. Hello, how are you? Are you? Yeah, I'm just sneaking you in. 20 seconds.
Hello,
what's your name? Your question? Yeah. Your name, your question.
My question is, my name is Christian Alice. I'm speaking from Uganda.
Yeah.
Please, the campaign of that government is not enough. Nobody knows him. Everybody Jando.
Okay.
You don't do enough campaign.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. They say they don't know you. In fact, even when the first woman called, when I said Labour Party, they say, is it Jando?
Yes.
Everybody knows that. They say they don't know you. So, that one and all the other questions, yeah.
Well, like I said, we have a surge strategy. And you're going to be hearing a lot of me and seeing a lot of me in the next coming weeks all the way to the election. We have to be realistic and manage the funds that we have. We don't have former governors or former this and that or any of that in our party. So we are bootstrapping our way through. And we have to manage our resources. But you will hear Buddy Bros Vival in your ears as much as possible in the next couple of weeks. So let's get into it. Project delivery based on, so for us, as I was saying, the local government, having potential governors that are excellent in mind, passionate about what they're trying to do as local government chairman is our goal. Because that then makes my work easier. Like he was talking about in Oshodisola, I know this road that he's talking about. Inner roads, you have about 40% of the roads in Lagos State are local government roads. And if the state government does not have any business doing those roads, we can set the benchmark for the quality of materials and the structure of the road. And then also we're going to tie in the life expectancy of that road to the payment of the contractor. But what is also another thing that we are going to do in our manifesto is ensure that we start to build construction companies that hire people that are localized in that local government, especially for youth. And this ties into the agro situation we're talking about. Giving people employability skills, incentivizing construction companies to hire them when they are doing work in that local government, right? Also to take them off the streets and set benchmark for quality of roads and life expectancy. So that's one. Healthcare. For us in healthcare, it's important to give as many people, starting from micro health insurance. We want to make sure people have micro health insurance so that we normalize taking diagnostic tests, whether you have malaria or typhoid. You're not just drinking agbo and then having secondary problems later on with your liver or your kidneys. We're going to do that. I already am insuring people as just part of my campaign. Spend just 500 naira, they can get treatment of up to 5,000 naira.
Who pays for the premium?
I do. I did. Right? In my own campaign I'm talking about.
How much does the premium cost?
Okay, so I've just said, so it's 500 naira per month, and then you can get up to 5,000 naira worth of treatment. So that's how the system works. So I paid 500 naira.
Okay.
But I'm saying as a government now, the idea is to directly tie your tax to this, right? So if you're a tax-paying member of Lagos State, you belong to the Commonwealth of Lagos, you get the benefit.
How many people are tax-paying members in a largely very informal Lagos?
Well, okay, that's interesting. So the formal part of Lagos, about 4 million people are taxpayers. The informal sector is much more. They're talking about people that I would even say double that.
Because you know why I'm asking this question, and that's why we're having this critical thing, because most of those people you still want to give micro health care. They probably, for them to be able to pay taxes, they'll have health insurance via their workplace, you know, or the like and all of that.
So the idea is to make these things as accessible as possible. The market woman that's selling and giving money to Yaloja, these are things that need to be looked at. Those monies, where are they going to? Same thing with the agri that's generating almost 100.
So how are you going to crack that informal sector? And what's the premium going to be like?
Okay, so the idea first is to actually understand the quantum of money that's going there. So for us, Yalojas cannot be collecting money because there are no direct incentives to the market women. There are no services. They do their own environmental work. They pay for their own security.
So will you remove the current Yaloja?
monies cannot go to her anymore. There'll be an automated way of collecting money, because that also reduces the stealth taxes that are being collected, multiple taxes that are being collected. Even a woman selling granules, tomato on her head, is paying some form of tax, right? And these things need to be uniform and become, what's the word?
So you go up against the likes of MC Oluomo. That's what you're saying.
Certainly. My government has zero tolerance for that. But the fact of the matter is we must first create an alternative for all those young men, to tackle youth unemployment. A year and a half, 2 years, giving them skills. I give you an example of construction in local governments. In local governments like Ikorodu, Ekpe, we want to lengthen the aquaculture value chain, give them skills to get involved in that, work with them. Yesterday, I was at the telethon at Plus TV, and as I walked out, all of them are like, Gbadibo, and all of them came around me, and I brought this up. I said, listen, if we have work for you, would you do the work? All their faces change. You see, that alaye voice is something they put up because that's the only way they feel they can get money. One guy there was a graduate from Unilag Arts Department. We actually got it on radio. Another guy was a graduate of Nsukka, right? People were talking about how they just want to have a small bus they can drive. Some are just looking for work. Any work that will get them off the street. So for us, it's about working with them as stakeholders to say, these are the skills I'm interested in, and then incentivizing companies to hire them that graduate from that process. So that's something.
How many million jobs would you like to create, or would you project to create in your manifesto?
In our manifesto, we are looking at going to about 10,000 young men across Lagos State every year.
How many people are currently employed in Lagos?
That I have to look into that.
Okay.
So I've said we have about 4 million taxpayers, but those are also companies, so I cannot use that number as a benchmark. No.
And you also know that those people also include expatriates.
Expatriates, yes.
That's the expatriate population and all of that.
I will say that's a minority. I think more than anything, we also have to look at the informal sector employment, because normally these numbers are formal sector.
Yeah.
For me, the informal sector, where you have a market woman that when she's pregnant, she doesn't have any money for maternity leave, that she does not have healthcare insurance cover or anything like that. These are numbers we need to bring together.
So how do you regularize that data?
So that's the thing. We need to collect this data, because this data is not available to the local governments, right? So we're going to empower local governments to collect data, even going as far as knowing the number of women that have been divorced or widowed, because that also ties into the number of children that are out of school. We have about 2 million children out of school. If a mother is so emotionally distraught, she's not going to be able to wake up in the morning, get those children ready, and get them to school.
Let's talk about the schools. Because the out of school children numbers are much. In Lagos, and the quality of the schools is
very poor.
What are the
Less
schools?
than 12% of the children that are in school are attending public schools, right? So the people of Lagos, even a driver, a maid in the house, is looking to send her children to private school. Now, this is a burden that comes on them. You can imagine every time it's time for school fees, you see them, they're stressed, they're tense. But if the public schools were actually taking care of these children, then all of that pressure will be reduced on them. And that's what used to happen in the past. Days where my father was in St. Greg's, his father's chauffeur's son could also be in St. Greg's as well, right? And that's where we need to get back to. So for us, there are about 676 schools, secondary and primary, senior secondary and junior secondary schools. About 300 of them, or less than half, over the past 10 years have gotten into this e-learning thing, right?
So those are you have over 600
junior
and secondary private schools.
Yes.
But you have thousands of private schools.
Yes.
That's because the numbers are saying over 80% actually
are in private
schools.
Yes.
So for every public school, you have times 5 or times 10 private schools.
Yes.
Question is, how are you going to build more schools to compete? And how much do you have?
For me, it's not about competing. First, the thing is to increase the quality of teaching in the schools we already have. Make sure e-learning goes to all.
How many million students are currently in public schools?
It's about. The total number of children in school, we're looking at about 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Right. If I say that about 20%, right, of that number are in public schools.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then the teacher ratio also is a problem. You're looking at 1 to 70 in most schools. That needs to be reduced to about 1 to 20, 1 to 30. So the idea first is to hire more teachers, upwardly review the wages that we're paying them at a baseline of about 100%. So you're looking at increasing salaries from 40,000 to about 80,000.
How are you going to pay for these increases?
The
Because
fact of the matter-
your revenue is not getting any better.
Oh, but then we're covering all the loopholes. So there'll be no alpha.
But have you
beta
done the
paying
numbers?
taxes. Yes. Because if you look at
Because you see, covering all the loopholes is a very generalistic statement. But
So let's look at
nuts
it.
and bolts here.
Let's look at it.
How much does Alpha Beta collect?
About 15%. So you're looking at about 3 to 4 billion every month. Right? If we invest 3 to 4 billion, even the 120 billion every year that's being generated by the NERTW or whatever they call themselves now, that is not accounted for, that we don't know where it's going to. It's not even going to local governments. If we can even get even just half of that and put into our education and healthcare, it would be very significant.
So you scrap Alpha Beta.
Certainly, it's not right for a government to be giving that much money to a private individual and a private company when their children in schools that are still sitting on the floor and using block work for their tables. It's not right. So that has to go. And then you also now looked at, there's a lot that has to go. You look at all the land that has been appropriated from indigenous communities in Lagos State. I'm talking about Ekpe, Ikorodu. You're looking at Badagry, Ojo, that have just been appropriated. There's no value from that land being added back to the state treasury. And it's just locked because development is not even ongoing there. This value has to be released and opened up to people of Lagos to afford land at a affordable price, making them increasing the potential for them to be landowners and housing and project owners.
What's your take on land use charge?
I feel that the land use charge, if used properly, is actually valuable. I mean, the system came from London, from England, right? Where that land use charge directly ties into the quality of education and gets in that local government, directly ties into quality of healthcare and gets in that local government, but that's not the case, right? So for me, first, we need to reduce the number of stealth taxes. There are businesses in Ethiopia that are getting charged from two local governments. LCD and the local governments are charging them TV licenses, both of them, in a place that doesn't have any TVs, right? So we need to make sure that, yes, we want to raise income and generate revenue, but we must show directly how you are benefiting from it, right? And that will incentivize people to even pay more and expand our tax net.
Let's take more calls. 0700 903 903 903. A lot of people too are joining us on YouTube.
We have not yet talked about housing. So
yes, we're going to talk about housing when we come back. 0700 903 903, because we have about 10 minutes more to go. So please send us your messages, get the calls in. Let's talk about housing. What are you going to do as regards housing?
Okay, so I'm an architect. So, so for me, with the transportation network being built, you then reduce the pressure on the central part of Lagos. A lot of people have to squat and live in even shanties just to be close to work. So now, if we can, once we can create that network, you can now create a situation where 35-40 minutes you're at work. So you can now open up the Ikorodu division, the Badagry division, for developers to start building properties there. Secondly, our affordable housing, which is going to be, we're going to create a social housing fund that will be funded from large-scale projects that are being done, where whatever revenue we generate from there, we put it towards that. To create a system where there's going to be lotteries for you to be able to get affordable housing.
But this government does all of that.
But it's not transparent. Most of these buildings are already sold before they can get to the market. And then they are sold, and then the prices are increasing. So you're completely defeating the purpose of the idea of affordable housing. And even the affordable housing, affordable to whom? So we want multi-income housing, right? That's directly tied to your salary, right? And then as long as you're a tax-paying member of society, informal and formal, you have access to be able to get on this property ladder, right? So that's the system we're going to try and build out. And it's going to be transparent and accountable. Like a proper.
But even at that, landlords are still going to largely dominate the space. So are you going to look at things like monthly payment of rent?
So for us, the idea will be a situation where the affordable housing we're doing is going to be a monthly payment of rent, right? That's what we're looking at to make sure we reduce the barrier of entry.
I mean, I was in Abidjan last week and they pay rent monthly.
Pardon, say that again, please.
I was in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire last week and they pay rent monthly.
Yes, so the idea also is what the landlords have to deal with when people cannot make those payments at them. That's all of this is based on risk. Right, all of this is based on risk. So the government is going to take a position to try and reduce that risk as much as possible, right? Whether it's by guaranteeing people that are tax-paying members of society with landlords, creating as much social housing as possible, and also incentivizing developers to build more social housing.
Okay, this
places
guarantees
outside
on
Central.
tax payments. What if they lose their jobs?
That's the thing. So, for instance, we're also working with insurance companies. So, I've been in talks with insurance companies that are creating innovative models of, taking pensions, taking salaries, hedging those risks, and being able to benchmark these things. So, a lot of this is going to be in partnership with private sector. Government's role, for me, is about creating an enabling environment. I cannot emphasize this enough. So that the people that are experts at these things can actually manage it in the most efficient way possible. Because that's what we need. We need efficiency, hard line efficiency. And that is completely lacking in the system that we have today. Because it's not just about today. Even the agro situation that was brought up. There are young men in primary school getting to GSS1 that are seeing other young men with plastics are hitting cars, and the person they look up to is rubbing shoulders with the potential president, potential ministers, and that is the value that's being celebrated. We're talking about 2 million children out of school. In 10 years, if this system continues like this, you're having 4-5 million children out of school. Because the number of agros that were around when I was running in 2019 has more than quadrupled now. And this is social engineering that must happen. Because a point will come where so many people are out there, there are only so much you can collect from buses. You now need to start collecting money. You're robbing people when they're in traffic.
Yeah, but they are robbing people in traffic already.
They are. That's what I'm
people.
saying. They are. So this system must be corrected. But we must first create an alternative means for them to earn a living, and then bring the law hard on anybody that is going against that. Right? So there's a lot of social engineering that needs to happen, but we must also remember that the state backs and turns a blind eye to all of this, because every 4 years they need them to perpetrate voter suppression in Lagos State. Now, as a government, we're coming in to work very hard so that the people will bring us back based on goodwill. Now, we don't need anybody to suppress votes. So that job description is no longer going to be needed in Lagos of our government, right? So it will be a situation where we want to make it productive members of society. And I promise you, I've had this interaction with area boys in Alimosho, in Amodofi, and yesterday in Etiosa. And everybody comes to me that if they had a job, they would leave the streets. So I'm going to, I know that that's not a blanket statement I can make for everybody.
Yes, it's not like ironclad assurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at least, even if we can get 50 to 60% young men off the road, it's not just about today, it's about the potential generation that are looking at them and make the decision whether they should stay in school or go on the streets and using plastics and hitting cars.
Let's talk about open defecation in Lagos. It's rampant everywhere. People don't just have toilets, they don't have homes. And let's talk about pressure spots and group and street gangs. 1 million boys inundated areas like Igon. I mean, you saw during COVID, you saw what happened with all of these gangs. Lagos is now fast becoming a gang capital of some sort.
Yes, I completely agree, and that ties into what we're talking about just now. You have a lot of youth unemployment. You see, an idle mind is devil's workshop, and when you have that amount of inactiveness, idleness, drugs become a problem. People get on drugs, and we need to look at this as a health issue, not a criminal issue. These young men don't really have an alternative, right? So we must create it and rehabilitate these young men. That's why primary healthcare centers are important, and also putting into its drug.
What would you do as regards the primary healthcare centers? And how many of them do we even have now? Okay,
so numbers vary. Some government reports to say about 600. NGOs and all of that will say about 360, 260.
Is that not too small for a 22 million population?
Too small. And also, it's also about the time that they are open. You have primary healthcare centers that are open for 4 hours in a day, some open for 8 hours. But the ideal thing is to get them to be open for almost 24 hours. Because the idea is also, in case of emergency, that should be the first port of call. We need to create systems that absorb people along the way, so that everybody does not need to go to a general hospital and put a lot of pressure on that. Even though facilities at general hospitals must be expanded, we must get more support staff, right? Higher training, upwardly review the salaries that we're paying our doctors, and improve the facilities and infrastructure that we have in all of these hospitals. Also, we want to build major tertiary medical institutions.
All this money is, are you going to get them to from blocking loopholes? Because when I say how are you going to raise the cash, you say block loopholes.
Well, block loopholes.
It's like a refrain.
No.
But you've not told us any innovative way to make the cash.
I said, we're partnering with the private sector as well.
Okay.
Right?
Private sector is on healthcare. These are not iron. You know, the private sector is not ironclad insurance.
No, of course,
like that.
of course. But what I'm saying is, when you invest significantly in healthcare insurance, as a state, right? Currently, per capita on health in Lagos State is about 4,000 naira per person,
which is
right?
paltry.
Very poor.
Which can't very conveniently even treat one bout of malaria.
Very
and as an average Lagosian, you have 4 or 5 in a year.
And in all of that, also, you have a situation where a lot of people are not covered by health insurance. Because when you look at the system of insurance, it actually is a very efficient way of managing resources. Because you're not just throwing money at something, you're throwing money when it is needed, right? Which I feel is extreme, and that's where the private sector comes in. So partnering with private sector in terms of health insurance, getting as much coverage as possible, and investing in all of these things.
Good. So you've launched your campaign ad. When are we going to start seeing? Are we going to hear it being played here on VOP Radio 90.3?
I was talking. Do you know Mr. Bailey? Do you know Mr. Bailey on Mainland FM? He spoke so highly of you, and he's supposed to reach you.
Okay.
In relation to that.
Okay.
So yes, we need.
So
to
because you need to circulate it across radio stations, and like we are a media house here, we give every political platform a chance to, play their ads, so that's going to be up and running. And you said
next week.
Next week. So what are going to be the schedules for your rallies and campaigns? What local government and where are you going at what time?
Okay, so I cannot just say off the top of my head now.
Okay.
I know that we're in Alimo show tomorrow, we're in Ifakoja yesterday, we're in Ikeja the day before, and then I was in Amodofin yesterday, in Monkey Village. So we have a schedule and we're working with that. Obviously, all these things can also be tweaked every now and then if something else comes up, but we're covering the whole of Lagos before.
Who is bankrolling you?
My brother, I'm looking for people who, if you know anybody that wants to bankroll me, please help me. We're
so it's still largely your funds?
Funds, friends.
No former governor, no former Babasokwe.
You see, the thing as well, why you see...
No National Labour Party bankrolling you?
Which National Labour Party? Yeah, so, that's not the case. We have a lot of good...
So it's still your money. And if this doesn't work out for you, that means you've chalked breakfast with that.
But I can tell my children I tried. That's really what it comes down to. I don't have the capacity to just see mediocrity and walk past. I don't have it. I wish I did, but I don't have it. At least I can say, I've given a run. I did my best. I sacrificed as much resources I had. My son was born in August. I could not be there. Right? So there are many personal sacrifices that have happened.
So sad.
But the important thing is I can say that at 39, I tried my best, and if the people are not ready, the people are not ready. But I believe we're from next government in Lagos State because people are tired, and we're going to give it our all. This time, from this week, you're going to feel the significant push because we've held it back as well.
Yeah, because a lot of people say non-rainbow cooperation.
Yes.
When I said Labour Party can,
yes, I know. But so, it's also you don't want to start too early and run out of money before the elections.
I think we've largely covered most of the pertinent issues, and we stayed on subject, and it was a very quality conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you guys so much, for all your calls and messages out there. That's about all we can take. We've got the Labour Party candidate for governor. As somebody said, aspirant. It's not aspirant. It's candidate for governor.
Easy to become candidate.
and I hope you've settled all your internal higri-jigri in the Labour Party.
We've done very well. We've done very well.
And the professor that has been...
we're still reaching out to him. I won at the High Court. I won at the High Court. He's gone to the Appeal Court. We'll meet him there.
So after Appeal Court...
He most likely will go to Supreme Court. We'll meet him there, and I'm sure we'll emerge victorious.
Okay. All right, that's been it. We've been talking to Badebo Road Vival. We'll see how things pan out in the week for the Labour Party candidate. And hey, we're calling on every other political party where radio station supports every political interface. Bring your adverts here. Not only Labour Party, PDP is running here. APC is running here. I hear, or they will soon start running here by the grace of God. Boot Party too here. We have the candidate here. He should bring his advert here. Everybody bring your advert here because we have a chance to amplify all of that. I'll play you an interview I did with somebody very special, Dr. Newton Jibana at 85. We'll play that interview again as we wrap up straight. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Bless you so much. Yeah. Great conversations today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Miracle working God. You're a miracle working God. told him. He looked at the plan, looked at the endorsements,